going on, Jeromes? A weekly Q&A video. We are back. We are better than ever. We're simultaneous sip. Good times. The throat, the pipes. They're back to being dulcet. Guts, glory, ram. But yeah, the throat's feeling a lot better, man, and all that stuff. So let's dive on. And Mr. Payday 3604. It's extremely worrisome about the offensive line at this point. They know it's a weakness and didn't do anything about it. It could be our Achilles heel this year, assuming the defense is much better. Well, people are crying in the breast milk about the offensive line because of the preseason game, but who didn't play? Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, O'Neal, and Ed Ingram, the only starter who actually played out there, actually did okay. And I thought that in real time. I know that people just like to poo-poo Ed Ingram based on inertia, but I actually think that he did okay on Thursday. So I wouldn't worry until we see the ones. Nobel War Prize. Why don't you accept sponsorships, endorsements? I'm sure someone has given you an offer. Great content as always. Well, we used to have sponsors back in the day. Sort of let them phase out because I thought we were getting a little bit too commercial, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying I wouldn't accept a sponsor if the situation was right, but I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes shows turn themselves into like the side of a NASCAR car where it's just like ad, and I don't want to do that to you guys. And I think as long as we can hold out and still be economically viable without taking on sponsors, we'll do it. But that being said, if the right one does come along and it's an offer I can't refuse, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But always listening, but not really seeking things out. Blake Kettler. If they were to make an Adam Thielen movie, who would you want to play him? Also, do you think the Twins should fire Rocco? Well, I do think that they should change things up with the Twins. Unfortunately, I think Rocco should be shown the door. I'm trying to pull up the graphic because in terms of who should play Thielen in the movie, we said Jake Gyllenhaal from back in the day, and I think we have a graphic of it. So now I'm trying to zoom in and enhance. This is a really good pod right now. Ooh, there it is. Aha. Nailed it. Gyllenhaal, the Adam Thielen story. And it is a good underdog story. I mean, Detroit Lakes, Mankato State University Community College, UDFA tryout, working his way up from the practice squad, making an impact on special teams first and foremost. It's a good story, man. Andrew Johnson. If Danielle balls out on his contract this year, how big of a push would you make to extend him next offseason? Is there enough young depth currently on the rooster that could make moving on possible? It would be extremely tough because as good as as much as I like the depth, again, trying to be a professional here, as much as I like the defensive line depth, if you have Danielle at the peak of his powers at 29, he's still going to be better than anything you got. Even if Wanham and Jones and Carter and Villain all really step up, I mean, Danielle is still one of one. And he's still going to be in the thick of his prime for about the next 3 to 4 years. So I would certainly take that into account. So I would do whatever you could to extend him. There you go. Next, Planes and Gains. I think it's dumb that we're not re-signing Kirk next year. We don't have a good option to replace him. I don't think it's smart to just throw in a draft a rookie next year, let him sit and develop. I think we continue drafting quarterbacks until they take his job. Until then, I love Kirk as our guy. I think part of it is Kirk's camp knows too that if and when he comes out and has a phenomenal year, the Vikings, Kirk will have all the leverage because the Vikings will need him because the Vikings will have back end of the first round draft status, and I think that it's maximizing his value as a free agent next year. And I do think ultimately he re-signs here in Minnesota because I think that both sides realize that they're better together over the next 1, 2, 3 years. But yeah, we'll see. Anna, how many channel members are there, and do you consider making one of the perks access to the meme library? Honestly, that could sway me. That's actually funny because producer Allie's brought up something like that. I mean, we could. Trying to think the best way to do it, like Dropbox, would that work? I don't know. Something that we certainly consider because I was looking through, I was cleaning up some files the other day. There's a lot of memes that we don't use anymore because they're just not applicable. Mainly Spielman and Zimmer ones were they're the best, simply the best. Kyle Enstrom, I can't wait to see how this rooster ends up. We need to sign Reisner. I think it's still in the cards. I think that eventually they will sign Dalton Reisner, and I would prefer him over Darby and certainly over Kareem Hunt. Justin Miller, love the channel. I watch every morning. Thank you. What are your top 3 most lopsided trades in NFL history? Is Herschel Walker one? I'd have to research this. Lopsided trades. Herschel Walker would be up there. The RG3 trade in a weird way, where neither side won. Tunsil trade worked out for both sides. Jared Allen trade worked out for both sides because the Chiefs got Jamal Charles and Brandon Albert on top of a first-round pick. I don't know. I'd have to dig into that. I'm sure there's one like Johnny Unitas being traded from the Steelers to the Colts for like a bucket of balls or something like that. Christopher Skoll. Do you think there will ever be a world where we sign Reisner and move Ezra to the backup swing tackle position and have Ingram, Reisner at guards? I don't necessarily see a demotion of Ezra, but I could see a trade of Ezra. Yeah, and signing Dalton Reisner in that spot. Super Core. Who do you think is most likely to have a breakout season this year on offense and defense? Offense, breakout. I mean, does Darisaw count? Because although I think Darisaw's already there, I think that he is going to have an Andrew Thomas adjacent type season busting out this year. I think Hawkinson could have a bust out year. I think Hawkinson may finish as tight end 1 in fantasy. Defensively, I mean, take your pick. Asamoah, Ivan Pace Jr., Metellus, Kyrus Tonga, Jaquelin. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of candidates on the defense side of the ball. Charles Allen. I'm very concerned about our offensive line. It should be an off-season priority. I don't understand why they didn't address this. And given the obvious issues during the final preseason game, our first preseason game, why didn't O'Connell have Jaron Hall take a few snaps from the shotgun? They did have a few snaps from the shotgun. They also did not pan out. But yeah, I'm not worried about the offensive line until we get to see the starters. And yes, it would be great if the backups played well. I think Schlutman and Ed Ingram did play relatively well. Vidarian Lowe needed work. Oli Udoh did not look good. But Oli Udoh has looked good at right tackle before. Just one of those things. Yeah. Let's see here. Mayfield, thoughts on Eric Kendricks saying that Tyreek Hill was his number 1 on NFL Top 100 feels a bit of a slap in the face toward JJ, especially when they were teammates. I didn't see that, but also guys are entitled to their opinion, and frankly, maybe Kendricks just forgot about Justin Jefferson. Who knows? Eric Peters, did you see a difference in Bears and Packers family night? Yeah, the Bears, not so much. Packers. In fairness, there's not really much to do in Appleton adjacent area. Wolf, could we make it all the way with the offensive line we have now? Yes. I mean, let's see the starters out there, and then if they don't pan out, then Shakura, ever had chicken wings from D-Spot? Yes. Yeesh. Reese's wings are really good. Any restaurants you'd recommend? Any restaurants you'd recommend that you recommend? Love your video, Skull. For wings, so D-Spot is good. D-Spot's really good. Blue Door is fantastic for wings. The Muddy Chicken, Muddy Cow is actually really good. And also there's all right, so here's something that flies on our radar. If you want good wings, basically go to any like Chinese or Vietnamese place where they largely get their supplies from the same vendor, you know the old Dragon food truck, but the wings that they get, like the pre-coated, like slightly crispy wings, they're so good, man. They're so good. And I know everyone thinks about like sports bar wings, but if you want some good wings, just order a bunch from like a really good Chinese restaurant. Go from there, man. Eric Anderson. Actually, there's a Vietnamese place near us that make probably my favorite chicken wings, and they're fantastic. They're really good. Also, probably the best spring rolls I've ever had. Yeah, but I don't want to reveal them. It's not like I'm gatekeeping, but also I just don't want people to know where I live. That's our deal. Eric Anderson. Lucy attempted to make some pretty big hits last game, but they didn't really land. Do you think he can stack bodies this year, or is he being humbled by the men's league? I think he certainly can stack. Zach Charbonnet is not an easy guy to take down, but also I think that he played a little bit high. Definitely needs to lower his pad level just a skosh on some of those. But yeah. Nicholasaurus. If you could be best friends with one NFL player, who would it be and why? Johnny Manziel. No. I would probably pick an offensive lineman. See, who would I pick for O-line? Because I'm not like the wild party. Well, I was never really like the wild party club guy. I was and am like day drinking and eat lots of meat type of guy. So I think that would be simpatico with how a lot of offensive linemen roll. I feel like me and Taylor Lewan would get along. Yeah. Let's see who else. Actually, following like Instagram and stuff, I feel like Brian O'Neill lives a pretty good life. I feel like he's relatively chill. I think we get along. All right. Me and Darisaw. Darisaw likes to eat, so me and him would be good to go. I'll pick Darisaw and O'Neill. Like we'll be the best tackle trio in the National Football League, man. Michael Converse. Is Dalton Reisner going to be this year's J.C. Treader? Yeah, except Dalton Reisner is healthy. Yeah. Harvey Melber. Any possibility we can... also, he won't be blackballed by the league. Any possibility we can trade Rieger to Denver with him playing well and Tim Patrick being hurt? Give us more money to sign Reisner whilst getting picks. It's a possibility. I don't think that the market will be that huge for Jalen unless he really lights things up in these next two preseason games, which is a possibility. Vincent Oliver. What does our front office have against guards? Seriously, what is the obsession with trying to make tackles play guard school from Alabama? It's a pretty fair question. I mean, Ezra was a converted tackle. Blake Brandel was a converted tackle. Oli Udoh was a converted tackle when they tried that. Ed Ingram is a guard. So, I mean, I guess we can go from there. Vincent Oliver. Maddox Maloney. Which one of the three free agent tryouts do you want more? Reisner, Roby, or Hunt? Darby. Ronald Darby. Reisner. Yeah, pretty easily. K. Fizzle. Ty Chandler is shown out on the opener. If he continues, will Madison Chandler or McBride be a running back by committee? Yes. I think they feel very comfortable with that. Todd Haysbrook. Who is your second favorite NFL team and why? Raiders. The history, Vegas. I love the silver and black. Plus the yeah, Raiders would be too. Ants Goat. Do you think the Vikings would have won the chip in 2017 if Bradford and Cook never got hurt or Bradford didn't get hurt? Sam Bradford week 1 against the Saints was a bad man. And I think that they would have won the Super Bowl. I think that they would have been the one seed in the NFC. And I think that, yeah, that was going to be the Vikings' year. Was. Online alias. Can we start calling Ivan Pace Jr. the IP man? Oh, I get it. Sure, why not? Zargos. In all honesty, the football gods may have decided that our franchise quarterback probably isn't even born yet. Can we please just get a star quarterback? Tired of scabs. We'll figure out a way to get Caleb Williams. I mean, I don't know how Quase is going to do it, but reunited with Jordan Addison and Mekhi Blackman, it's happening, man. Abul, I think if Kirk Cousins would join the 49ers, they would be Super Bowl contender number 1. Do you agree? Yes. I think that's the case over the last several years. And I think if Kirk was on that Super Bowl team that played the Chiefs, I think that they would have won that Super Bowl because I think that Kirk makes that deep post route makes that skinny post throw to Emmanuel Sanders that Jimmy G missed. Ohio JDs. You think the Vikings defense is going to be good this year? I think they're going to be more entertaining, and I think they're going to be opportunistic. I think if they're middle of the table in terms of yards and points, I think that's a huge win. We know that they're going to be up there in terms of blitz percentage, pressures, and sacks. I mean, that's going to be a given. Really there for that, too. Storm. Chandler looked pretty good in a game of a lot of good running, check down, catches, etc. But how do you replace production burst that plays Cook brought? I just don't see that threat in the backfield. I mean, Chandler is that threat. I mean, given his speed, given his wiggle. But yeah, Dalvin did have that home run gear. The problem is that he had a lot of negative plays last year. I think he had his career high in terms of touches that went for 2 yards or less last season. But I do think that Chandler does have that burst. Ravilla, predictions on championship teams from both divisions. Two AFC, two. All right, so who's going to meet in the conference title games? Vikings and the Niners. And then the Chiefs and the Bengals. Yeah, I think Joey B comes back with a vengeance. Yeah, actually no, Chiefs Jaguars. Let's go. Do you think Andrew Booth Jr. is a candidate for a surprise cut? No, because I think that would be admitting defeat. I think he could be a guy that magically ends up on IR after 53-man rosters are set. But that's the thing about GMs. They all have egos, even though Kwesi's an analytical guy, and cutting a second-round dude that you trade up for, number 40 overall, or 42, whatever. That's too much. Plus, he still has potential, man. But we'll see. Arrows. Big prove a year for Rager, Booth, and Cine. I feel bad for them because they have pressure of high draft pedigree, but those three, do you think has the best chance to be a dude who starts and plays at a high level? Probably Cine, then Rieger, and then Booth. I think Cine has the benefit of not being a starter this year, so he won't have that pressure. He'll be able to ease himself in behind Harrison and Metellus and Beasley. James J. How long will Kwesi be GM? I would say for 10 years, and then Kwesi's going to be president. I don't know. Just hearing him talk, it feels like he's wasting his time. It feels like this is a side hustle, him in football. Like, he should be a leader of much more important things. Reptar. Who is your surprise rooster cut? All right, so surprise cut. Kene Nwangu. Man, that'd be a bit of a shocker. Gets Oli Udo. Although how much of his contract is guaranteed? That remains to be seen. Guess surprise cut. Nah, I can't see Booth. I don't know. Bynum? Nah. Jordan Hicks. Although that wouldn't be too surprising given the rise of Pace Jr., but we'll see. Favorite and least favorite Kwesi move so far? Overall or just this offseason? Well, we'll do this offseason. I would say getting nothing for the Dalvin trade or Dalvin Cook. I mean, at least get to 7th. That would have been nice. Favorite move? The Murphy signing is great. I think that I think getting Addison and Blackman is great. Actually, I'm a big fan of the draft overall, as well as getting those priority UDFAs. Let's see here. Domko, do you think Justin Jefferson will resign with us? In what position should we draft in the 24 draft? Yes, and guard/quarterback. Kanye West, biggest fan. If the Vikings do sign Kareem Hunt or Dalton Risner, is it 100% they trade Kincaid and Ezra Cleveland? I don't think it's 100%. Nah, especially it may just be an injury thing with Kene and Risner. They may just bring in for depth for the moment. Trey Ida, great dad. I think I might be on me lonely here, but quick question. Why does it seem like Kevin O'Connell play calling is a little sus, especially in those fourth down territory? I don't know. I seen it a lot this year, and that fourth down play for Jaron Hall at the end was a head scratcher. Well, I think Kevin O'Connell is very much dedicated to keeping it vanilla and keeping it close to the vest. Plus, play calling wise, he didn't really get to open up a lot of the playbook anyway because Jaron Hall had to do 3-step drops because he wasn't getting protection otherwise. So, yeah, I wouldn't base too much off of this. Penguin Zero, thoughts on 2022 draft class? Awesome one's going to be good. Aaron King. Can a team with no interior offensive line win a Super Bowl? Well, look at the Chiefs. No. I mean, Chiefs have one of the best interiors in the league. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Niso Norris. What is our team ceiling playoffs floor? Ceiling 14-3, Super Bowl homeboy. Floor 8-9, maybe. Jack M. Are you losing faith in Kwesi and decisions he's been making? No. Cody's nuts. Najee Thompson had himself a game. Why hasn't there been much talk on him? I feel like there's been plenty of talk on him. I think that he certainly is making a case for himself to make at least the practice squad, if not the 53. I think he made 2 fantastic special teams plays, and I think he's on the radar. Yeah, I think that there's been an adequate amount of talk about him. Did Naylor blow another season now, or is it too soon to tell still? Oh, he's got to get on the field soon. I mean, for all of the good vibes that he had at OTAs and the first day of training camp, I mean, yes, injuries happen and they suck, but at a certain point, Zimmer's right. You can't make the club in the tub, and he's going to have to get out there and show something because the other receivers, you look at Rager, you look at Powell, you look at Tristan Jackson, who's back there after injury. I mean, these guys are out there making plays, and he's starting to get lapped. Faye, why is Addison not working as wide receiver 2 yet, or when will he? Well, here's the thing, like wide receiver 2, it's not like a set position. It's not like starting guard, right? So there's going to be times when Addison gets a lot of work. Same thing with KJ, and it's going to be rather nebulous. I think they're both going to be able to get theirs. I hate Joey Gallo. Season predictions for Lewis Cine, Ed Ingram, Ivan Pace Jr. Cine's going to play a high-end special teams. He'll be rotated in at the safety spot. Ed Ingram will be a top 18 guard in the league. Ivan Pace Jr., I think eventually he will take the starting job from Jordan Hicks. And I think that he is going to be the Viking starting middle linebacker for the next 10 years. Wild Bumblebee feet. Can we please give up on number 74? I mean, he did not look good on Thursday. Bo Jackson, love Quesadilla and his moves, but Spielman drafting. Am I a dick for saying that out loud? Now, I mean, Spielman had. I enjoy Kwesi's moves. They're very calculated, but Spielman was just about making moves just to make moves. I respect Spielman's drafting, and over people crush him for Ponder and Matt Khalil and all that stuff, but I mean he also did hit on Justin Jefferson and Christian Darrisaw, and Kirk Cousins frankly has been the Vikings' best quarterback that they've had since Tarkenton probably. Cole Snitker. Do you think Harrison Smith will retire a Viking? Yes. I think this will be his last season. I think he'll retire. Double J. Who's going to be running back 2? Chandler. Scully, Ivan Hall of Fame Pace Jr. Yes. Fee. I don't know why I'm disappointed with how Cine's looking, and Booth just certified bust at this point. I don't know. I know that people are like completely cooking Cine because of the Zach Charbonnet play, but. Nah, like Cine's been looking good in training camp. I'm not worried about him. Booth, we're starting to get there. Get there. Finally, Trey Botcher. Do you think Jalen Naylor or Jordan Addison will be wide receiver 3? Sorry, no Jalen Rager. Addison. There we go. That's it. That's this week's Q&A. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Venmo, blah, blah, blah. Skull, production value.